The perceived problem with the NHS and student mental health is, that the demand on our service is huge, and it is huge. So I think over a week we can have up to 500 new mental health presentations over our practice, which is just massive. The perception is the wait for an appointment is huge. You only have 10 minutes with a GP. We can do absolutely nothing in 10 minutes. And it's no wonder that people come away feeling unheard and dissatisfied with the service that they're getting from primary care. We're then referring into services that have these huge waits, for talking therapies, or we're giving people medication that's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to work. And I think the perception is that the NHS, the service that we're providing and the service that primary care is providing isn't good enough. I was going to talk to you about a case because I think this demonstrates my frustration. So within our university MDT, we have a student who is 20. She comes from a broken family, so mum and dad divorced a few years ago, a really acrimonious, bitter divorce. She doesn't feel comfortable going home anymore. She doesn't really get on with her mum. So she is in Liverpool. She's had a long history of anxiety and depression, going back to when she was a teenager. So when she came to university, there was nothing in place to support her. And she's also autistic, so she really struggles with relationships. Long history of self-harm. And she's coming back to our university MDT every week, and every week she comes back in crisis. So she presents with overdoses, presents with intense suicidal ideation to A&E. She's a really prolific service user, using multiple services. So university counsellor, A&E. She comes into our team, and none of us are helping her. We've tried medication, nothing works, and between us, between the university, between the GP, between the crisis team, we just go round in circles trying our best to help this student. But the truth is, when I think about that student, she is incredibly isolated. She's in a halls of residence with no one around her. She's got no family support. She can't go back home. There's nobody there for her. Her autism prevents her from making friends, prevents her from having those social connections. She has no financial support from her family, so financially she's in massive struggles. She's struggling academically, but she can't give up because she's going to be 18 grand in debt, so she can't pull out. The solution, the perceived solution at the moment for her is pills and a waiting list. And actually, we're never going to get anywhere with her with that solution. Her issues are so psychosocial. The issues are political. The issues are in how do we get her integrated within a community? How do we get the right community support and team around her? How do we make her have meaningful friendships, connections, people who can support her? How do we provide her with financial support? All of these solutions are not being given to her, hence she's bouncing around. And, I think until we can look at things, demedicalise them, take the diagnosis away, we're really going to struggle to support these people in the right way.
So services have created a dependency, but then our communities, and I include the university community, have become dependent upon services, and now we're kind of in this sticky situation where it's like, what do we do now? I don't think throwing money at everything will help. I think there's lots of knots in the journey. I think one of the ways that we've found is, like I say, through social enterprise, but ultimately the success of that is not got nothing to do really with the business model. It's got more to do with what's happening at a community level. We have groups in the north end of the city, the south end of the city. Every single one of them started off life with, Matty, can you help me? Every single one of them. We have men's groups started by a man, run by a man. We have women's groups the same way. I never sat down with my professional hat on and gone, do you know what's needed now? Because I've read this paper, I'm gonna write this timetable because I've got this, let these letters after my name. Didn't do that. Doesn't work. Done it for over a decade. It didn't work then. So, the best of our service is because of the people that are there delivering services by them, for them, increasing social wealth. That will help this end. And then obviously we're here trying to help stuff at the other end.
Yeah, and I think your point about it being a collaborative systems approach is really important. But I think for me at the moment, if we'd always had that, that would be brilliant. People would be in the right place now. I think the issue is we haven't had that. And so what we're finding is that a lot of people are coming at the later stages of presentations. So actually what's happening is that the secondary care and the crisis systems are completely clogged. And it then makes it very difficult for us to find the genuine pathology versus the people who are having really difficult psychosocial times. You know, and then we're stuck because you don't want to deny anybody access to a service, but actually it might not be the right service for them. So I think you're absolutely right. We need a much better spread. And if we can get the right people down into the community and the social services, then we're going to end up with the right people having the therapy and the right people using the crisis services, and we'll have an absolutely fluid system. But it feels like at the moment, because of the position that we're in, it just feels we're not able to get there.